The film opens with an air marshal named Gu Chaoyang jumping into a taxi and racing toward the airport. He is trying to catch his girlfriend, Dong Lu, a flight attendant who is about to fly overseas. He has just found out that she already moved all of her things out of their home and into the crew dormitory, which tells him she has made her decision. The taxi turns out to be a shared ride, so the driver has to drop off another passenger first. From the back seat, Chaoyang picks up a sour, burnt smell and instantly recognizes it. The man in the front seat is high on drugs. Chaoyang pulls out his badge and tells the driver to head for the nearest police station. The addict does not go quietly. He attacks Chaoyang inside the moving car, terrifies the driver, then throws the door open and runs into an industrial zone. Chaoyang chases him to a hideout where 3 more men are waiting. He fights all 4 of them in a tight, brutal brawl, takes them down, and calls his colleagues to collect them. By the time it is over, he has missed his chance. Dong Lu had been calling him the whole time, but his phone was off. His superior, a man named Zhao, tells him to get to the airport anyway, but her phone is already dead, which means the plane has taken off. Zhao asks him straight out whether he actually wants to get married, because the problem is bigger than a ring. Dong Lu gave up a career abroad for him. He transferred out of the criminal unit into the air marshal so they could spend more time together. They both rearranged their lives for each other and still ended up here. Back home, Chaoyang sees Dong Lu's latest social media post and spots her destination, an island in the Pacific called Ulea. He asks Zhao for a short leave and flies out after her. He finds her at a restaurant and tries to explain that, working in civil aviation himself, he understands the pressure of her job better than anyone. Her answer catches him completely off guard. She tells him she never believed he was serious about their relationship in the first place, and then she walks out. Meanwhile, the National Civil Aviation Bureau is handling an urgent mission. A senior air marshal, Captain Lu Chengfei, and his partner Qin Sheng have learned that a major Chinese fugitive named Du Julin has been captured on Ulea. The local police have agreed to hand him over, and because the case is sensitive, he has to be escorted home immediately on a commercial flight. By pure coincidence, one of the attendants on that flight is Dong Lu. Before departure, the captain briefs the crew. There is a special escorted passenger on board. Everyone needs to stay alert, and if anything happens, they report to the cockpit and follow the air marshals. The crew sweeps the cabin and everything comes back clean, except for one small detail. The catering staff assigned that day was suddenly swapped for someone new. At the screening area, the warning signs start piling up. A foreign woman in dark sunglasses refuses to take them off. A man refuses to let his bag be inspected and keeps arguing in a language the officers cannot follow. And inside his bag is a handcrafted item shaped like a blade. Chaoyang steps in to translate. Then another man gets through with a bullet-shaped necklace, calling it harmless craftwork. As Chaoyang turns to leave, a man in black with glasses walks up to him and starts casually reading those same passengers like an open book. This is Paquet, and this is the first time the two of them cross paths. The new catering team loads the meals while passengers board. Among them are a social media influencer known as Sister Lee and her friend Nian, both live streaming the whole thing. A smooth-talking man tries to get a flight attendant's contact and gets turned down because she is on the clock. A rowdy little boy bumps into him and his mother refuses to apologize until the head attendant, Dong Lu, steps in and diffuses it. Chaoyang boards and locks eyes with Dong Lu, but she walks away without a word. An elderly woman asks for a roomier seat because of her heart condition, and Paquet politely gives up his own. Captain Lu and Qin Sheng seat Du Julin in a special escort area in the last row. The plane takes off from Ulea, bound for Qian, China. Once the plane levels out, cabin service begins, and one passenger quietly cries while he eats. It is Du Julin. After years on the run abroad, he is tasting the food of his homeland again, and even with a trial waiting for him, the rice still tastes incredible. Then a man from first class insists on using the economy lavatory. Ying Zi, a senior attendant and Dong Lu's superior, tries to stop him, but he pushes until he gets his way. Not long after, the link between the plane and air traffic control starts falling apart. The tower calls again and again and gets nothing back. Something on board is jamming the signal. On the ground, the command center screen lights up with a numeric code that puts the whole room on edge. Inside the cabin, the elderly woman with the heart condition suddenly cannot breathe. Paquet reacts first, coaching her through it and pulling medicine out of his own pocket. Once she is calm, he sits back down next to Chaoyang and starts guessing his job for fun, running through doctor, programmer, lawyer, even police officer. Chao Yang says nothing, and that only makes Paquet smile more. He asks to swap contacts like they are old friends. On the ground, the screen lights up again with an even more alarming code. Up in the cabin, Chao Yang is the first to sense it. Using the small compass built into his watch, he realizes the plane is turning south when it should be flying north. He hits the call button and asks for the head attendant, and the woman who shows up is someone he recognizes from screening. Everything still looks normal, but Chao Yang is now certain something is wrong. He gets up and tries to walk into first class, and the fake attendant blocks him. He pushes past her anyway, and what he sees stops him cold. The body of the real attendant is lying in the corner. A vicious fight breaks out in that narrow corridor. In the middle of it, another female air marshal arrives, sees Chao Yang wrestling with someone dressed as a flight attendant, assumes he is the criminal, and attacks him too. Captain Liu reaches first class, but with ground communication still cut, he has no way to verify Chao Yang's identity, so for the moment Chao Yang is treated as one of the hijackers. This is when Dong Lu, so cold to him before, steps forward and confirms his badge. She also admits, in front of everyone, that Chao Yang is her ex-boyfriend. With the fake attendant restrained, the team digs deeper and finds three things. There is at least one more male accomplice hidden among the first-class passengers. The passengers who passed out after the meal service were drugged. And on the ground, the Ulea Tower reports that the real catering worker was shot dead before the flight ever left. Captain Liu's conclusion is simple. These people are professionals. The hijacking was built in layers, with an inside man in catering, an attendant planted in the crew, and a hijacker sitting in an ordinary passenger seat. Two priorities now: find the hidden hijacker and find the source of the interference. An attendant reports that a male passenger who went into the rear lavatory never came out. Captain Liu sends Yingzi and the security officer Su to check. Inside, they find the smooth-talking passenger knocked out cold, along with a signal jamming device hidden in a soapbox. Before they can deal with the jammer, another crisis hits. While Yingzi searches a suitcase, a second hijacker grabs a crew member from behind and threatens to kill her. It looks hopeless until Chao Yang takes him down the moment he drops his guard. But what the man screams as he goes down freezes the entire cabin. He says catching him means nothing, because everyone on this plane is going to die anyway. Chao Yang immediately suspects there is something else on board. The team sweeps the luggage in that row again, and they find a bomb. It is inside a black bag, and the bag belongs to Chao Yang. Chao Yang is as shocked as everyone else, and insists it is a setup, but Captain Liu orders him arrested. Then an unexpected witness speaks up. Sister Lee, the influencer, tells Captain Liu she saw someone digging through a passenger's bag earlier while everyone was distracted. That testimony flips Chao Yang from suspect to victim. The hijackers planted the bomb to take out the one air marshal they feared most. Captain Liu splits up the work fast. Su handles the bomb, Dong Lu and the head attendant move passengers toward the front, and the pilot requests permission to circle in the air to buy time. In the middle of the panic, a young man who has been sitting quietly the whole flight says he is a former bomb disposal soldier of Chinese descent from Ulea. His plan is simple: stack soft luggage in a ring around the bomb so that if it goes off, the shrapnel will not tear through the fuselage. Passengers who were only spectators until now start handing over their bags to build the shield. While everyone is focused on the bomb, Chao Yang looks at Paquet's hand and notices a distinctive tattoo on his wrist. It is the exact same tattoo he saw on the hand of the foreign woman in dark sunglasses at screening. Everything clicks. This group came in through the airport gates from the very start, and the friendly man who spent the whole flight chatting with him was never a counselor. Chao Yang and Paquet go straight at each other. The fight is not enough. The hijackers seize the cabin, and Paquet's men free Du Julin. Once the noise dies down, the mastermind is finally revealed. It is Paquet, the same man who gave up his seat to an elderly woman and played a guessing game with Chao Yang. And the motive is not money or politics, it is a debt. Du Julin once saved Paquet from a drug lord's trap, and now that his savior has been captured, Paquet is willing to hijack a plane with more than 200 people on it to set one man free. The plan was airtight. One accomplice bribed a security officer to get the signal jammer on board. The fake attendant, Yu Qi, took control of first class and forced the pilots to turn toward their territory, a place called Willow. Paquet himself posed as a counselor to get close to Chaoyang, the marshal most likely to ruin everything. Even the strange, unheated meal one passenger ordered earlier was a signal between accomplices. Paquet wastes no time. He threatens to kill passengers one by one unless the pilots divert to Willow. He has the captured air marshals beaten and mocked, and he uses a small child in his mother's lap as pressure. But Chaoyang and Donglu already have a plan, and it is insane. Chaoyang wants the pilots to steer the plane straight into a thunderstorm cloud. The extreme turbulence will throw the hijackers off their feet, and the air marshals, who know it is coming, will brace for it and strike back in that exact window. The ground commander refuses at first, then trusts them. The captain promises to bank as hard as he can inside the storm to give the marshals every second he can. At the same time, Paquet orders a huge man in a red jacket, Dafa, to drag Chaoyang, Captain Liu, and Yingzi down into the cargo hold, the tightest and darkest space on the plane. Before the storm hits, several angry male passengers volunteer to fight the hijackers themselves, but Donglu and the crew refuse. Their job is to protect the passengers, not the other way around. Everyone is told to fasten their seatbelts. Down in the hold, the marshals are easy targets. Captain Liu is knocked unconscious by a heavy blow from Dafa. Then Dafa starts harassing Yingzi, who is handcuffed and cannot defend herself. Chaoyang snaps and throws himself at the big man. He beats him down, takes the handcuff key from his pocket, frees Yingzi, and then releases the others. Right on cue, the plane enters the storm. The turbulence alarm sounds 3 times. The cabin lights turn red, and the whole aircraft starts shaking. This is the moment Chaoyang has been waiting for, and he is barely starting to plan the climb up when the cargo door opens. Paquet has come down himself to block them. Chaoyang shouts at Captain Liu and Yingzi to run for the stairs while he holds him off, and then it is just the two of them in the dark, swaying hold. Upstairs, the turbulence opens a gap, and the passengers reach their limit. A husband whose wife was struck charges forward. Sister Li and Nian jump in, and the people who had been sitting and watching turn into a resistance team. For nearly 6 straight minutes, the cabin and the cargo hold are both battlefields. Chaoyang, Captain Liu, and Qinqing take turns getting knocked down and getting back up. Nobody wins this with one clean punch. They win because none of them quit. In the middle of it, Yingzi and Yu Qi end up locked in the lavatory. A room built for one person turned into a boxing ring, and Yingzi finally puts her down with a blow to the head. Out in the main cabin, Qincheng and a group of civilian passengers take down Chang Jianrong, the man with the bullet necklace. Back in the hold, Paquet keeps taunting Chaoyang, calling the Chinese police garbage and promising to humiliate them in front of the whole world. That is the fuel Chaoyang needed. Bleeding from everywhere, he unloads one last combination that drops Paquet to the cargo floor, out cold. Chaoyang leaves him there and drags himself up to the cabin to help finish off the rest. Just as it starts to feel over, one last accomplice steps out from among the passengers. It is the young man who claimed to be a bomb disposal soldier. He has a bomb trigger in his hand, and he warns that if anyone moves, everyone dies together. Then he looks at Du Julin and says one word that changes the entire night. He is Du Julin's son. He boarded under a false identity as an explosives specialist for one reason, to free his father, and the luggage shield he helped build was part of the act. His demand is the same: turn toward Willow or nobody lands. Meanwhile, Du Julin grabs a makeshift weapon off a fallen hijacker and turns it on the cabin. Chaoyang does not back off. He walks toward him slowly, telling him his accomplices are all down and that confessing is the only road home he has left. Du Julin panics and shoots him in the leg. Chaoyang, bleeding onto the cabin floor, gets back up and keeps walking forward one step at a time. When the son asks him if it is really worth it, Chaoyang gives a one-word answer. Worth it. That leaves one problem: the live bomb sitting inside the ring of luggage. There is no time to cut a wire, so Chaoyang comes up with another crazy idea and tells Sue to grab the emergency liquid nitrogen canister on board. If the bomb's temperature drops to minus 130 degrees, the circuit board will freeze solid and the device simply stops working. The catch is that whoever holds the canister will destroy their own hand with the cold. Chaoyang does not hesitate. Cold vapor floods the floor. His hand freezes around the canister. Donglu is in tears. And then the bomb's timer stops blinking, and a cabin full of screaming turns into applause. The captain announces the landing procedure, and one by one, the exhausted passengers start saying the same thing. They are finally going home. When the doors open, ambulances, police, and medical teams are already waiting on the tarmac. Chaoyang and the injured are carried out. The hijackers are marched off in handcuffs, and Piquet is dragged out of the cargo hold by ground security. The smooth talker walks up to that flight attendant one more time to ask for her contact, this time pointing out that working hours are finally over. And Sister Lee and Neon are already live streaming again, introducing Chaoyang as the hero who led the passengers fight back. So the moral of the story is, if a stranger is too nice, offers you their seat, guesses your job perfectly, and wants to exchange contacts 5 minutes later, maybe check if they're hijacking the plane first.